Are live. Hello, I'm Howard Mann, creator of Conscious Shifting, and welcome to Conscious Shifting. Before we get started, a quick warning and disclaimer. Conscious shifting and all known side effects will improve your physical, mental, and spiritual health while providing the ideal environment for spiritual awakening, helping you live the life of your dreams and influence the world in a positive way. So, if that's something that interests you, then you can follow us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube. And then join us here Wednesday nights, 6 p.m. California time for Conscious Shifting. The way to communicate with us is through our daily thought-provoking post or during a live or during a replay of a live. Simply place your question in the comment box and we'll respond from a spiritual perspective. This will benefit everyone. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Everybody take a deep breath. Way down to the belly button. And relax. Another big deep breath. And relax. Okay, one more time. Big deep breath. And relax. All right, let's get started. Tonight's topic is, are you a cosmic accident? Hi, Kim. Hi, Tina. Me as well. Hi, Uda. Welcome. So, do you believe you're simply the result of a cosmic accident of some kind? Plenty of scientists and intellectuals will answer this question with a definite yes. It's a popular view. The thing is, do you think that we just caught a lucky break, or that life and our amazing universe are just a string of fortunate mistakes? Or do you sense that there's a divine intelligence behind all of this? Scientists have suggested, and for the most part still suggest, that we got here by a series of random events. Therefore, all of this is just one big cosmic accident. They believe that the physical universe is the only reality and that nothing else exists. Yes, indeed. They believe this reality, along with everything and everyone in it, just sort of happened one day and for no reason. Could they be right? Are we a cosmic accident? Could everything come from nothing? Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Briefly, the story goes something like this. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then there was something. And then this something eventually became matter. Matter eventually became the universe. Life sprang up. And with a little evolution thrown in there, here we are. And all of this happened for no reason. Now, there's many very intelligent people who believe this story. However, consider this. Does it sound like anything at all that you've experienced? For example, how often have you noticed things materializing out of nothing and for no reason? Do you believe that things just randomly happen? When you look about the world that you live in, do you recognize order and balance? Or does chaos rule supreme? Which sounds more like your experience. So again, are we a cosmic accident? Science is the discipline of explaining how things work. There are scientific laws, and everything in the universe operates within these laws. So how do we get around the fact that science contradicts itself? On the one hand, everything behaves and can be explained by scientific laws. On the other hand, everything came from nothing and for no reason. So you can't have it both ways. Those don't make any sense. how do you believe both of those at the same time, right? So let's start with a little bit of science, something that you probably learned in grade school, the law of inertia. Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion states that every object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless compelled to change its state by the action of an external force. So the question then becomes, what was the external force behind the creation of this reality? Now, the scientific community would come back to a question like that and they'd say, well, before the universe, there weren't any laws of physics. Laws of physics require physical matter. And before the universe, there was no physical matter. Okay. But while there were no cosmic forces without a cosmos, does this necessarily mean that there were no forces of any kind? Hi, Tracy. Is the status quo scientific fact or religion? In other words, how do you get everything out of nothing? Nothing is nothing. Therefore, there isn't anything that can come from nothing. And what about order coming out of chaos? By definition, chaos is complete confusion. So if we accept this definition, then complete confusion is complete. Therefore, no order is possible. Throughout history and still today, much of what's accepted as scientific fact is actually religion, often requiring as much faith as religion, as in religion. And this is what I call the religion of science, because it ignores all known science as well as reason in favor of belief. Neither a white lab coat nor high intelligence necessarily equates to truth. Speaking of equations, let's explore some mathematics. Hi, Cheryl. Love, laugh, and be happy in the house. Mathematics is accepted by both science and religion as fact. Mathematics has what they call probabilities. And beyond a certain point of probability, it's accepted as proving impossibility. Now, here's the rub. Concepts like everything coming from nothing, order from chaos, evolution, stumbling along and randomly mutating, accidentally, occasionally resulting in life, intelligence, and consciousness, everything that we know as this reality. Now, these ideas are mathematically impossible, actually far beyond impossible. And there's so many things that are unlikely that you would have to consider them miracles. And yet we know that they all happened. They had to, or we wouldn't be here. For example, the exact makeup and size of our sun, as well as its exact distance from this planet. The exact size and makeup of our moon, as well as its exact orbit around the Earth. The exact size and makeup of planet Earth, as well as the exact orbit around the sun. And the exact makeup of Earth's atmosphere are all miracles required for us to physically be here right now. Obviously, they happened. So the universe is big, but reality is bigger. Now, we can cut science some slack, and you know I love science, and I use it whenever I can. But science is limited to physical things, things that can be taken apart and examined. Science deals with the known physical universe. But what about the unknown physical universe? What about beyond the physical universe? Hi, Donna. Welcome. We could cut religion a break as well, because religion is limited to the rules and rituals of the religion. So both science and religion are limited. Neither can extend beyond their boundaries. While they speak well within their boundaries, they can only speculate about what lies beyond. Yet the known universe isn't all that exists. Religion is based upon the idea that more exists, and quantum physics, science, ironically proves it. Matter isn't all that matters, though. Everything, all matter, is actually made of energy. Moreover, quantum physics proves that the same energy exists in both physical and non-physical states simultaneously. Now, did you catch that? Physical and non-physical states simultaneously. In other words, the physical realm is this universe that we live in, this place of time and space, the time-space continuum. The non-physical would be something other than that. So there must be this other realm, or quantum physics wouldn't be able to make statements like that. They wouldn't be able to actually observe energy coming in and out of a physical state. And they wouldn't make statements like that energy, that same energy, exists in both states simultaneously. So science is aware. They just don't know what to do with that. It's beyond their ability to define, because it's beyond the physical realm, non-physical. Science deals with the physical, while religion attempts to deal with the non-physical. And you have various religions, and they all have a little different spin on things, but they attempt to explain the non-physical. And although cutting-edge science is aware of the non-physical, the scientific method is limited to the physical. So, you have science on the one hand that's limited. Religion, now they're going to ignore everything that's outside of their beliefs and outside of the rituals of that particular religion. Therefore, neither one is really capable of complete truth. And so, if that's what we're after, if we want to know the truth, then we have to recognize that science and religion both have limitations, and we can't really depend on them for the whole story, then, can we? Hi, Trey. Hey, Yellowhammer. Kim, energy is everything and everything is energy. I would have to look that up. I've seen that quoted a lot of places. I'm not sure who the first person that said that is. So where does that leave us then with spirituality? Because spirituality is freedom to explore both the physical and the non-physical without limitations. Hi, Susan. How you doing? No, you're in here. I see you, and you are coming in from YouTube. So at least that's the way it looks on my screen. The physical is what is. And here science rocks. However, the non-physical isn't nothing. It's simply beyond physical form, beyond time, beyond space, beyond the limitations of both science and religion. The thing is that our universe, when you look at it and when you examine it, what you find is that it's full of intelligence. It's built right into the design of the universe. You can't escape it because it's in everything and it's everywhere. And down to the very smallest particle, all the way down to energy, is intelligence. The electrons that orbit the nucleus of an atom carry information. Pure energy, no physical matter. And yet, there's information contained within. So where does that information come from? The non-physical realm. The energy carries it into the physical realm. So this intelligence, there's intelligence operating outside of the physical realm, outside of our universe, beyond the boundaries of our universe and time and space. Before the Big Bang, there was information, intelligence, right? And that intelligence must have existed before the known universe. It had to have. It's why the Big Bang occurred. An intelligent force is behind the force of creation. Patterns exist in the universe. All we have to do is observe, but the answers are within us. True, we live in this reality, but the answers are within us because we are this reality. There's many cosmic forces at work, and all of them are intelligently directed. They're not random and they're not chaotic. Patterns are evidence of order, and order requires intelligence before the order. Prior intelligence must have existed in order to arrange the order. Additionally, without some form of intelligence existing in the beginning, it's impossible to understand how even the simplest life forms came into existence, let alone function. Huh. I wonder, now I hadn't heard that before. So you're not seeing the comments on YouTube, even though I'm streaming to YouTube. Maybe I know that it takes a couple days before I get a notification from YouTube that we're live. So maybe that's why you can watch it because I'm streaming it there, but maybe it takes them a couple days. I don't know what they do. In this day and age, everything's being censored or monitored in some way. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that though, because that I did not know. Help me remember that, Kim, so I don't forget that. I want to look into that and find out why that is and if there's anything we can do about it. Trey says, even beyond our understanding. Yes. Yes. For example, visualize your car's engine. Many parts make up your car's engine. However, if you remove one of those parts, the engine can't run. Now let's compare your car's engine to your human body. Your body in and of itself is a miracle, or should I say miracles. Your body is actually a large community of organisms. By some estimates, as many as 50 to 100 trillion cells, all working in harmony, make up the human body. Even more fascinating, each of those cells is like a human body. Each cell has skin covering all of its parts, and within the cell, there's a variety of organs that perform certain functions. Cells breathe, eat, drink, excrete waste, move about, perform various functions, reproduce, live, and die. So they're very much like your human body, a human organism. There's 100 trillion of them, perhaps, inside of a human organism, making up the human organism. And there's actually more space in between them than there is cells. Hard to imagine, but it's true. 100 trillion is a lot. But as sophisticated as your modern car engine may be, with all the latest, greatest technology in the onboard computers, it's nothing compared to a single cell in your body. But no one would leave all the parts of their car engine lying around, right? Anywhere for any amount of time and expect that somehow they're going to evolve into a functioning engine. Of course, that would be ridiculous, right? Nobody would expect that. But then why assume that even a single human cell evolved all on its own, let alone a complete human mind body with perhaps 100 trillion cells. And each one of those cells more complex than that car engine. Not to mention that each of those human cells, as well as your mind body, manufactures, maintains, repairs, and replaces its own parts. Let's see an automobile do that. But similar to your automobile engine, if you remove parts from your mind body or any of your cells, they can't function properly. And if you remove major parts, the result is death. It takes all these parts for it to work. Take one out, the whole thing dies, and yet somehow all these parts evolved as this organism. There's no way. There's no way. That's ludicrous. So things aren't happening independent of each other, number one. There's some supreme force that's directing all these other forces within our physical realm. Intelligence greater than our supercomputers directs our universe while existing in everything within it, no matter how basic. You get that? Intelligence greater than our supercomputers directs our universe while existing in everything in it, no matter how basic. Therefore, this intelligence could not have evolved. There's no way. To begin with, everything is made of molecules, and molecules are made of atoms, and atoms are made of energy, and energy is intelligently directed. Patterns that complement the greater good are evolutionary. And patterns that don't, they're destined for extinction. So while evolution is one of the cosmic forces at work, it's not random, nor is it an accident. It starts with awareness of an imbalance. And then there's this intelligent adaptation or evolution that takes place that brings things into balance. Failure to rise in awareness or maintain balance results in extinction. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. You could be talking about a plant. You could be talking about an animal. You could be talking about an entire species. You could be talking about humanity. If we don't rise in consciousness and adapt, we're going to become extinct. That's what happened to the dinosaurs. They couldn't adapt to a changing world, and so they perished. Furthermore, regardless of when and how the universe started, it's obvious that something caused it. Things don't just magically happen for no reason. And ignoring the spiritual or scientific evidence simply because it doesn't fit our belief system will only hide the truth that we seek. Nothing's random. Randomness only appears random when there's lack of understanding. Cosmic forces are constantly at work. Seemingly opposite, yet complementary forces complete the whole. And these forces are mutually dependent upon each other. They're the ebb and flow of the universe. They're the yin and yang that maintains balance. So, balance is intelligently directed with an intelligence that's beyond the physical universe. And understanding this intelligence brings us awareness to a whole new level. The Greek philosopher Plato wrote something called the Allegory of the Cave. And in this story, there were people that had lived their entire life chained up deep inside of a cave. And they were chained in such a way that they couldn't see the outside world. They couldn't see the opening of the cave. But they could see reflections on the cave wall from the outside world. It's just that the way they were positioned in the cave, the view was blocked. So there was like this drop off in the cave, basically formed a stone wall, and they were chained to this stone wall so they could see the other wall of the cave. So anything that happened outside of the cave, the light, people passing by, shadows and stuff would be reflected on the wall of the cave, almost like a movie projector. So their experience was only with each other and some sounds and shadows from the outside world that were cast upon this wall that they could see. Now, Plato compares reality to the reality of the people in the cave, meaning that it's one of perception based upon very limited information. So, similarly, as vast and complete as our physical reality may seem, it's very much like life in Plato's cave. However, we can remove the chains, get up and walk out of the cave. And right here, right now, we're looking out of the cave and seeing a sunny day. We can see it. The next step in our evolution will be a giant one. We will awaken to spiritual consciousness, and it's no accident. So, are there any questions about any of that? Any comments? Oh, here we go. My thing stopped moving. Kim says exactly, but we can tap into it. Yes, we can. And she's asking cell memory. Yes, cell memory, but also because we're never really disconnected from it. Remember that energy that carries information is a scientific explanation, and that the energy exists in both the physical and non-physical state simultaneously. So another way of looking at that is that consciousness, conscious energy, exists in both the physical and the non-physical realms simultaneously. And consciousness is what brings the divine, which is another term for the spirit realm, which is another term for the non-physical realm. Consciousness brings the divine, or that energy carries the higher information from outside the physical universe into the physical universe. Now, we have consciousness, or at least I won't say everybody's aware of it, but in essence, that's what we are. Yes, we happen to temporarily be inhabiting these physical mind bodies, but we have consciousness, and it's not part of the physical mind body. It's just experiencing life or expressing itself in physical form through a mind body. But that consciousness is always in contact with the spiritual realm. When you develop an awareness of that, then you can tap into it because you are it. But also contained within cell memory is information. Information that's passed on from moment to moment. You know, every year, your 100 trillion cells, more or less, die and are recreated. And if they didn't carry the information from generation to generation of these cells, your body'd go haywire. So what's making that happen? Consciousness. Your spirit is manifesting as flesh and bone. Your body is a physical manifestation of your soul. The problem is that, you know, when we descended into matter, things kind of got scrambled. And although we have to have a way to navigate the time-space continuum, that viewpoint of time and space, we wouldn't be able to function here. We wouldn't be able to communicate. We wouldn't be able to prepare a meal. We wouldn't be able to do anything if we couldn't navigate time and space. So we have to be able to do that. So we have to have a viewpoint that's kind of one of individuality. That's not a problem. You can't be here unless you can function here. So you have to have the ability to do that. The problem is when you start identifying with that as reality. When you mistake this illusion, this manifestation of spirit into matter as the only reality, not understanding even what's causing it, not understanding who and what you are, identifying with the physical world and the things that go on here as if they're reality, identifying with your mind and your body as if they're who you are. They're not. So it gets a little complicated because on one hand, you have spirit manifesting as physical matter, but then you have various life forms with increasing complexities. And when you get up to the human mind body, you have an organism that's so complex, it's capable of actually expressing spirit. But not everybody's aware of that. Not everybody has risen to that point. They will, because it's what they are, which is why, yes, you can tap into it because it is, in fact, what you are. But you can also have false beliefs, which create spiritual blocks. Basically, you're denying your own true identity. You're confused about who you are. You're denying God. You're anti-God. That's why if you notice that through all these lies, I really focus in on division, separating people into groups: Democrats, Republicans, gay, straight, right, left, up, down, black, white. Any way you divide people up, you're putting energy into a belief in separateness. You're identifying with the physical world, the illusion, and you're embedding that lie deep into your psyche and into your cells. And so it's no wonder that the world is as crazy as it is. We're manifesting our false beliefs. We're manifesting the darkness that results from rejecting God and identifying instead with ego, by rejecting our own identity, our own true identity, refusing to accept who and what we are, and instead thinking we're this limited creature who's, manipulated by the world and other people and all this crazy stuff. So, yes, you can tap into it. And that's a great idea. It's a great idea. And the sooner you do it, the better off you're going to be, and the better off the world's going to be. Okay, I'll look into that, Susan. We are amazing. This whole thing's amazing. It's all, on the one hand, if you identify with the physical world and you look at, instead of looking at science and religion as ways to analyze information, if you really identify with them, then everything that goes on is a miracle. It's not what would be expected. It doesn't fit. It defies what the status quo would tell you reality is. And that's why we call them miracles. And yet they all had to happen or we wouldn't be here. If you rise in consciousness, if you go inward, you tap into source, you'll realize that there's nothing miraculous about any of it. It's the natural state of things. It's the way things are, and everything else is a lie. So, that's a big thing to understand. Trey says expanding ourselves and limited perspectives brings better connection to the non-physical. Exactly. The whole point of this is that consciousness expanded, for the purpose of expression. So we came here, we created this physical realm because we had to have, if you, in other words, if you want to express yourself, you have to have some way of doing that. If you're a musician, you express yourself musically. If you're an artist of some kind, you express yourself with your art form, right? Could be music, could be paint, could be clay. But if you're spirit, how do you express yourself? You can do it through art forms, but what's really going on there is spirit is expressing itself through a physical mind body into a physical realm. So the whole point of all of this is exactly that, is that we created this realm so that we had the ability to express ourselves. But when we, man, we goofed it up. Because when you deny God, when you deny higher realities, you create spiritual blocks which prevent you from expressing yourself, which is what you came here to do. So it's kind of a spiritual joke, but it is what it is. We're flawed in that regard, and we confuse things. It can be very confusing and shocking to the soul to come here. And then, you can live lifetimes and you can pick up emotional, baggage and false beliefs. And, this whole thing starts spinning out of control real fast. And so that's really what spirituality is all about. It's about calming all the noise, stilling the pond, the mind and the body, letting all the commotion settle. And then you have crystal clear vision. Just like a muddy pond, if all movement stopped and you waited long enough, all that sediment would settle and you'd have crystal clear water. That's really what spirituality does on a conscious level, both physically and mentally. Good health is a calm body. Good psychological health is a calm mind. When it's all chaotic and, that causes ill health, that eventually leads to disease. So, we self-sabotage ourselves. We sabotage ourselves that way. Kim says that, was it Jesus that said everything you need to know is within? Yes. Yes. The one who nearly everybody, doesn't matter if you're Jewish, Muslim, Christian, even Buddhist, nearly everybody accepts that Jesus reached a level of consciousness that was, as far as we can tell, pure knowledge of who and what he was. Christ consciousness. It's not a guy. We're not talking about this dude named Jesus that did some really cool things. That's missing the whole point. Jesus held a level of consciousness which was identified with who and what he was. And so when he said that everything you need to know is within, it was from that point of view. That's what he also meant when he said the kingdom of God is within. Well, how could that be? Again, the ego tries to separate everything. The Muslims go over here, the Jews go over here, the Christians go over here. You're going to hell. You can go to heaven because you believe the right way. And, heaven is this other place. But then if that were true, see, again, separation here, there, me, you. If that were true, then Jesus was a lunatic. because he said the kingdom of God is within. And like Kim says, everything you need to know is within. Well, how could this palace with golden streets and this altar with this old man in a beard that sits and judges everybody be in here if I'm separate from you? And where would it be in here? I mean, I had surgery, a couple of them, and they didn't find that in me. When they cut me open, it's all this light, oh, and angels didn't come flying out or anything like that. So, that's how messed up it becomes. When I mean, and that's what I mean when I say identify with the physical world. I literally mean that you believe that this is reality and that this is who you are. It's a lie. Spirituality 101. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's science. I don't care if it's the president, the Supreme Court. I don't care. If they say or do anything that separates people into groups, they're coming from darkness. They're coming from the viewpoint of the ego. It's not spirit speaking. Spirit doesn't know these things. There's just spirit. It's just one spirit. That's it. One thing. Quantum physics, they're real close to coming out and saying that. They know that time and space don't exist, that they're illusions. So in a sense, they're saying everything that ever was, is, or will be is all anywhere at any time is all right here, right now. Everything. There's just one thing. And everything comes from that source. But it has the appearance of being separate. They're real close to coming out with it. They know it. They just don't know how to explain it because it doesn't make scientific sense. It doesn't make the rational mind, the thinking mind, it doesn't add up. And yet they know it to be the case. Tracy says, spirit expresses itself through love. Love, the greater good, truth, they're all unconditional of that is. Those are all descriptions of God, consciousness, this one thing I'm talking about. So if it's not unconditional love, if it's not for the greater good, meaning everyone, then it's not spirit. It's ego. People might tell you, "Oh, I'm channeling spirit." No, you're not. No, you're not at all. You're channeling ego. Because spirit doesn't know of those things. They'd be like, "What?" Boy, these people are weird. You take the simplest stuff and you just make it so confusing. Oh. How deep is your love? Huh. All right, so I don't see any more questions about any of this stuff. It's a heavy topic. But let's move on to a healing circle. If you have questions, you can put them in there. I'll answer them before we close. But let's move on to a healing circle. There we go. Spirit is love, indeed. All right, so everybody gather around, join hands, gently close your eyes and your mouths, breathing through the nose down to body consciousness, way down around the belly button area. And then exhale back out through the nose. And again, big deep breath, way down. And exhale. Again, inhale peace. And exhale all tension. Inhale peace. And exhale all troublesome thoughts. Inhale unconditional love. And exhale all that is not unconditional love. Now you're getting it. Inhale spirit and exhale disease. One more time. Big, deep breath. And then exhale anything that you no longer identify with. Feel lighter? Okay, now with each breath, pull energy up the back of your spine. From the base of your spine all the way up the back of your spine, all the way up into your skull. And then as you exhale, let your energy flow back down the front of the spine, all the way down to the base. And again, breathe in, pulling energy from the base of the spine up into the skull. Exhale, letting the energy flow back down the front of the spine. You feel anything? If not, don't worry about it. Again, breathe in, pulling energy from the base of the spine up into the skull. And exhale, letting energy flow down the front of the spine, all the way back down to the base. Now, continue doing that, but let your consciousness ride the energy up the back of your spine into your skull, and then down the front of your spine, back down to the base. So you inhale, pulling your life force, your energy, your consciousness up the back of the spine, all the way into the noggin, over the top of the crown, and back down the front of the spine, all the way down to the base. Okay, again, breathe in and pull consciousness up. Let it kind of expand into the skull. And then as you exhale, down the front of the spine, but this time beyond the spine, out the central nervous system into the body. And now breathe in with the body, into the base of the skull, up the back of the spine, into the crown, down the front of the spine as you exhale, out the central nervous system to all parts of the body. And again, breathe in with the entire body, drawing energy up through the base of the spine, up the back of the spine, into the crown. And then as you exhale, let it flow down the front of the spine, out the central nervous system, out into your entire nervous system, to every one of those 100 trillion cells, every point in your body. So now you're breathing with your entire body, and continue that on your own. Just breathe with the entire body, in and out. Now, let your consciousness follow the breath. So you're breathing in with the entire body, up into the skull, down the spine, back out to the entire body. Now, expand out beyond the body. So start pulling energy in from around you, in through the body, into the body, up the base of the, from the base of the spine, all the way up the back of the spine, into your skull. And then as you exhale, down the front of your spine, back out the nervous system, and then projecting beyond your body. You feel your consciousness expanding? You feeling lighter or more free, less tense? Continue that, becoming aware of this illusionary boundary. Because if you're conscious of your breath and your energy extending beyond your body, which, by the way, can be measured with scientific instruments, but if you're aware of that, your body's not really the boundary that you think it is. Your consciousness expands beyond that. Fill the healing circle with your consciousness. Let's just form one big collective consciousness within the healing circle. Remember, there's only oneness. We're all different parts of the whole. We're all one spirit. So let's just embrace that and fill the healing circle with consciousness. One consciousness, now breathing with the entire healing circle through your body and back out into the circle. And let's push it out further beyond the healing circle. Let's expand consciousness all the way out to the entire planet. And then breathe in with the entire planet all the way back into the healing circle, into the body, up the spine, down the spine, back out to the healing circle, back out to the entire planet. With each breath, consciousness flowing inward and outward, the ebb and flow of the universe. So let's expand out into the solar system, beyond the planet. Then we breathe out all the way to the edges of our solar system, and then back in into the planet, into the healing circle, into your mind body, up the spine, down the spine, back out the healing circle, the planet and the solar system. And let's push it a little further out into the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. Let your consciousness expand to the outer edges of our galaxy. And as you breathe in, pull the energy inward to our solar system, to our planet, to our healing circle, up your spine, down your spine, back out the healing circle, the planet, the solar system, the galaxy, and now beyond, all the way out to the outer limits of the universe. Breathe in from the outer limits of the universe into our galaxy, into our solar system, into our planet, into our healing circle, into your mind body, up the spine, down the spine, out into the healing circle, out into the planet, out beyond into our solar system, all the way to the outer edges of our galaxy, and all the way out to the outer limits of the universe. You are the universe. Energetically, you are the universe. You are spirit manifesting as the universe and everything within it. The entire universe exists within the cosmic mind, and your mind is part of the cosmic mind. You're part of cosmic consciousness. The universe and everything in it are manifestations of consciousness. Now go beyond this cosmic consciousness, beyond the universe. You can because you are much more. You are connected to the source of everything. You are connected to the source of everything because you are part of the source of everything. There's just this one consciousness, you're part of it. And together we make up the whole. In essence, you are pure consciousness, part of supreme consciousness. And in essence, we are one eternal consciousness. So let's just sit with that for about a minute and then we'll continue. Okay. So that's pretty peaceful, isn't it? It's pretty deep. You feel the unconditional love. You feel your connection to source. You feel the connection to each other. You can sit in meditation for just a couple of minutes and connect this way. That's all it takes, a couple minutes. You're part of eternal consciousness. So if you don't forget, you can be there in less than a second. But meditation can be a good tool, starting with the breath and working your way back to source. Can be a good way to hit the reset button, reminding you of who and what you are. And then don't just drop it off. Okay, time to go do whatever I'm going to do today. No, hold that awareness when you leave meditation, when you leave the healing circle. Hold that connection and let the divine flow through you into this world in everything you do. That's mastering spirituality. Okay, let's project this unconditional love out to the planet and the entire universe and all the beings in it. Just as our consciousness expands out there in meditation, we can send these vibes to all beings. And so it is. Unconditional love. All right, slowly open your eyes. If you have any final questions, go ahead and put them in the comment box. And then we'll call it a night. I'll give it just a couple seconds here. So again, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's easy to get distracted with all the nonsense going on in the world and all the stresses of day-to-day life. And it's extremely upsetting and it's extremely unhealthy, and it manifests disease. A couple minutes is all it takes. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You can meditate as long as you want, but all it takes is a couple minutes, and you can hit that reset button. And then try to keep that awareness with you as you go out. And then, the next time you go back into meditation, reset. It's best if you have a particular place in your home that you use just for meditation. It doesn't have to be a separate room, so that the energy of that space starts becoming identified with that, and a certain time that you do it. And every day is what's most important. Even if it's only a couple minutes, as long as it's every day, you can maintain this awareness. And in time, you'll notice that you'll start maintaining this awareness for longer and longer durations, and you won't forget. And you'll start living your life through that awareness, and things will start changing around you. You'll start to see nonstop miracles. And when things do start to distract you, you'll catch yourself and you'll realize that you're getting sucked into ego. And eventually, without even doing a meditation, you can just reset that awareness, because that at some point will become your normal state of mind. Then you feel how light it feels, right? That's your natural state. This is the less you identify with the physical world, the less physical you'll be. You are in essence spirit, and that in comparison feels light. It's less dense. And that's a healthy way to live. Kim's reminding everybody to drink a glass of water. You want to do that anytime you do energy work. Keep yourself hydrated. Energy flows best in a hydrated system. It's all about this balanced flow of energy. Without it, you're going to have ill health and disease. So stay hydrated. Thank you, Trey. I honor the God within you. And remember, until the next time, the only way to bring about the greater good is to be the greater good. Good night.